Welcome everyone. My name is Sean, and today I want to talk about this story out of Florida, where a mother has supposedly been banned from being able to drop her children off from school due to the fact that the school doesn't like what she did. And in fact, this story actually got ratcheted up a notch because the school has responded to this mother's job by expelling her in another horrible instance of judgy Christians being mad at an adult worker, or at least that's what this woman wants you to believe. But in actuality, what we're going to talk about today is an OnlyFans model who is using her children to get attention from the local news in order to sell subscriptions to her OnlyFans. That's the real story going on right here, and that's what I want to talk about. But before we do, I want to say thank you to everybody who signed up on actualjusticewarrior.com/join.
Give me the money. Give me the money. Okay?
And thank you to the podcast listeners, Spotify, Apple, and Google's podcasting platform.
Florida mom at odds with other parents over a controversial decal on her car.
She says there's nothing illegal about advertising her OnlyFans account, but it's causing a stir at her kid's private Christian school.
So there's a couple of things that right off the bat make this an open and shut case in terms of legality, and that is what you just heard right there, that we are dealing with a private school, a private Christian school, to be clear. So the idea that this private school is subject to the First Amendment in the way that a public school would be is just non-existent right here. So legally, just to be clear, the school is perfectly fine and within their rights to tell this mother that they do not want this vehicle with this explicit content advertisement on their property during school hours. It seems like the most sensible thing in the world. But even beyond that, there's so much more to this story that this woman is just clearly and obviously in the wrong.
This is what I'm looking at when I pull up behind one of these vehicles.
Facebook messages, complaints, and TikToks.
You ban a vehicle.
Taking the front row pew at a private Christian school.
Not just a tiny little emblem on the back of a car. It is taking up the entire back windshield of two vehicles.
Lexi Thomas is a parent at Liberty Christian who wants this ad on another parent's car to stay off campus.
So there's a couple of things that you need to know about this particular story. One, this is the advertisement. It is huge. It is enormous. It's not something that's not noticeable. Two, Lexi Thomas, the parent complaining about this particular advertisement on the vehicle, has a name that sounds like more of a porn star than the person who's actually doing this. But whatever, that's just something that I noticed that I wanted to share with you guys out there in the audience. And three, the school was actually quite reasonable in their ask of the parent with this advertisement on her vehicle when this whole matter became a big kerfuffle at this particular location.
That other parent is Michelle Klein, and what she has is an OnlyFans.
Well, it's definitely linked to, explicit content, adult content for sure.
Klein, who goes by Piper Fawn, says OnlyFans is her business and way of life.
My husband and I had this, little wild, behind closed doors lifestyle that we've now decided to share.
But not all parents want what Klein is sharing, shared at school, with some moms complaining to Klein and the school, telling her not to use the main entrance and instead drop her kids off across the street.
You see what I mean about the confusion right there? The non-porn person, the Christian person who's angry about this advertisement on the grounds of the Christian school, her name is very porny. It is Lexi Thomas. And then the porn person's called Michelle Klein. Very confusing. I got this backwards. Thank God for the local news media, because reading this, I would have messed this up, and maybe, just maybe, I would have been sued for defamation. But that being said, it's a big advertisement. It's on the back of the vehicle. You have a Christian school, a private school. They should be able to determine who and what comes onto the grounds of their property. But the thing about this particular story is that Michelle, she's actually making it a point to draw attention to this because this is part of the marketing campaign. It's actually not about her kids. In fact, she is willing to sacrifice her kids' reputation, go on the local news, let them get bullied just to make some money. And that's where I really think this story needs to be focused on, because it's not an issue of, oh, she's doing adult content and we should look down on that, we should frown on that, or whatever. It's the issue of she's using her children, risking them getting bullied to promote her adult content. And that's what it's all about. And you can see it. It's as clear as day every time this woman talks. And considering that this wasn't an issue that needed to be brought to the local news because the school brought her a sufficient compromise, in my opinion, it's just absurd in every possible way.
I was forced to have to, take it off or not come on campus.
But parents at this private school say there's a simple solution if Klein wants to use the main drop-off.
Why not take the decal off?
And that would seem like an easy thing to say, for sure. But for me, it supports my family. This provides a very comfortable way of life for us. And it's legal. I pay taxes just like everyone else. But I'm not breaking the law. I just offended people.
So this particular local news segment doesn't actually cover this portion of the compromise very accurately. So the school said, if you want to come on campus, then you got to take that thing off of your vehicle. We're not going to have a porn advertisement where people bring their children, a Christian institution. That's absurd. That's ridiculous. But that doesn't necessarily mean that your children are not welcome here. In fact, what you should do is park across the street and walk your children, and we will allow you admittance into the building. We just don't want this advertisement at our Christian school. And the mom responded to that by demanding that the school send somebody out across the street to escort her children into the school because she was too lazy to walk her damn self across the street and into the building and then walk her way back. Now, she has all these excuses about how, it's a legitimate business and I pay taxes and all that stuff. But the thing is, this is her trying to make this into a bigger issue to stir up controversy so that more and more people will be drawn to her site. She is using her kids as a pawn to sell porn. That's what's happening here. And that's why I'm against her. I don't care about what this lady does with their husband. I don't care if they film it on the internet, put it on the internet for money or anything like that. That's not my business. If you subscribe to that, I might think less of you. Why are you even paying for porn? That's absurd. But the fact of the matter is, she's using her kids, embarrassing her kids, going on the news trying to get famous off of this when all the school did was give her a reasonable ask and offer her a reasonable alternative. Now, because of this, the recent update to this story is the fact that the school just expelled the kids. They were like, you know what? This is too much controversy. We know what your mother's doing. You're not welcome here. You got to deal with it.
We want to continue this morning. We're speaking now to the mother at the center of a controversy that we've covered. Her children now kicked out of their private school due to her advertising her OnlyFans account on the back of her vehicle and driving that vehicle on school property.
All right, so this morning we are joined by Michelle Klein to talk to us more about this. Michelle, it is good to see you this morning. We're kind of far, but I'll shake your hand.
So first of all, I'm just going to say this. You don't know where that hand's been. You probably don't want to shake it, local news lady, but notice the setup of this. She's going on doing yet another interview, a sit-down interview on the couch, all to play victim, and again, to advertise her OnlyFans. All this woman cares about is getting that money, and she created this controversy, ginned up this hysteria in order to do so, and we're supposed to pretend like what's happening isn't happening.
All right, so I want to get right into this here about this controversy. How long had the sticker been on your car before it was noticed by a parent?
Approximately 2 years.
And had you had any issues prior to that 2 years?
No, ma'am.
So let's be clear, how long this was on the vehicle before anybody noticed it is not the issue at hand. The fact of the matter is, it's an adult content advertisement at a school for children, a Christian school that purports to have Christian values. A parent noticed it, they gave her a reasonable ask, and she didn't do it. They didn't tell her to even stop doing this. They didn't have one of those conduct policies that apply to members of the family or anything more extensive that we've seen in some other cases. They said, you can keep your business, you can keep paying us the money from your business, but please don't advertise it in the school's parking lot. It is a bad look. It's not something we want to do. And likely they added in there somewhere that it is likely something that will bully your children because those kids will all know that your kids are the kids of the OnlyFans mom, of the kids who are putting adult content on the internet.
That's a distraction to my children. And no matter how poorly or how good I parent, porn is there. And if that's kind of the first thing they're seeing when they're going into a place that should be educating them.
Now, by the way, in the research for this story, I did not subscribe to this woman's page, but I did, in fact, just look up her name straight up, no other captions or anything like that, took the safe search off, and all of her photos, or a huge portion of her photos, I'm sure she has some stuff that's still behind the paywall, are public. Like, you can see this woman naked instantly. And that's something that every student would be able to see. And considering she doesn't use her actual first and last name on her page, she uses a different name in her account, and that's the same name that they're advertising. Them putting it up there and kids Googling that definitely just leads to them seeing this woman naked. So you can understand why that would be a problem for some of the other parents, why that would be a problem for the school, why this would become an issue. And again, it's not like they immediately expelled the kids. It's not like they told her she needed to quit the OnlyFans or anything like that. The compromise that they offered her was park across the street, then walk your kids over, and we'll have no issue with one another. And she said, as a way to draw out this whole situation, that the school should provide an escort because she was too lazy to walk her lazy ass across the street to drop her own children off and then back again after that. Absurd in every possible way.
And the school came to us and they said if she removes this, she can come back. Did you consider that? Where was that thought process?
They had said if I removed it and I removed all social media, that's the most recent thing when they expelled the kids. They said.
Now look, the school asking her to delete all social media after this became a whole media story in the particular area, I can understand it, but I think that might be a bridge too far, because before they got the news media attention, all they wanted was for this woman to not be on the campus with that advertisement. But then again, it is a Christian school. Maybe they have qualms about taking money from somebody that makes it in this particular way. Maybe that's the issue at hand. I can't really speak to that. Also, I haven't heard this from the school. This appears to be just her version of the events. But now the interview is going to pivot into exactly where this woman wants it to pivot. And this is one of the things that I just find disgusting about this story.
You know, without getting into a whole lot of detail, what do you do on OnlyFans that could get these parents upset?
So right here, you have the local news playing into this woman's hands absolutely perfectly. What even is OnlyFans? Can you tell us what you do? Don't give us too much detail. Just tease us a little bit. Do you want us to put the link on the screen so people can go subscribe? Because this is the overall goal of this person. Now, she gives the same explanation, says she's been there for 3 years and all of that, gives like the pitch that she gave to the local news, because what this is all about for this mom is not like defending the sex workers or defending her rights or punishing these conservative Christians. It's about making money off the backs of her kids. Again, these are the same cars that you're going through a drive-through with your kids in the back seat. It's inappropriate behavior, and I'm going to be 100% clear. I do not care if this person does OnlyFans or anything like that. I don't care what she does with her husband. I'm not interested in it. It might not be something that I want to associate with. It was something that I would never pay for. Let's be clear about that. But that's not the main issue I have. What I do care about is the fact that she is sacrificing her kids' education. I'm assuming that she liked that school. And on top of that, using this controversy, deliberately drawing this out to get more attention for herself at the expense of her children.
How long have you been doing OnlyFans?
About 3 years now.
And what made you start doing it? I'm so sorry, Rebecca. I'm just so curious about this. What made you start doing it?
My husband and I have always, had the little kinkier lifestyle where we've just kind of, we always share pictures between the two of us and that sort. So we were never really shy to have a camera in the room with us.
So I got to make something 100% clear, because people will say that this is actually about a ridiculous Christian conservative organization just being too over the top, when nothing could be further from the truth. This is not a story similar to when like a teacher has images of her from when she was in college comes out and then she gets fired because the parents react or anything like that. This is a reasonable ask from any school, let alone a Christian school, let alone a private school. This woman is being unreasonable. They didn't want the advertisement there. She decided to use this controversy to further advertise. So the school expelled her kids. And by the way, the school was generous enough to leave this woman a path forward so that her kids could be re-enrolled in the school. Everything from the school is perfectly reasonable here. They did not overstep their bounds to get into the business of any of the parents. What actually happened here is that the parent overstepped her bounds to try to make her business the business of the schools. It's absurd, it's insane, it's ridiculous. And again, it's intentional, for profit, and at the expense of her own children. I want to know what you guys think. Do you think the school's in the right here, or are you wrong and you think the mother's in the right here? Are you a subscriber to the mother's OnlyFans page? If so, what would you rate her on the platform known as Yelp? 1 star or 5 stars? worse? All those thoughts down in the comments below. And as usual, if you like this video, show them by leaving a like, subscribe for more content, follow me on my social media, support me via the support links in the description of this video. This has been me talking about a genuinely bad person, not for the job that she has, but how she chooses to promote it. Till next time.